Think about the breakfast you ate this morning. Picture it in your mind. Maybe it was a bowl of what the box boldly claimed was a heart-healthy, whole-grain cereal with a splash of skim milk. Maybe it was a couple of slices of whole wheat toast with a cholesterol-lowering vegetable oil spread. Maybe you added a small glass of orange juice and a hot cup of black coffee to get your day started. You sat down at your kitchen table, ate your food, and felt completely confident that you were doing exactly what the medical establishment has been telling you to do for the last 40 years to protect your heart. But if you are over the age of 60 and you are struggling with your blood pressure, I need you to listen to me very carefully. That exact breakfast, the one endorsed by the commercials, the one printed on the pamphlets in your doctor's waiting room, is quietly, systematically, and violently raising your blood pressure every single morning. It is stiffening your arteries, thickening your blood, and forcing your heart to work against a wall of resistance that shouldn't be there. My name is Dr. Daniel Harris. I am a cardiologist, and I have spent the last 2 decades looking specifically at the cardiovascular systems of adults over 60. What I am about to share with you today is the conversation that you are simply not going to get in a rushed 15-minute appointment. We are going to completely dismantle one of the biggest medical myths of the last century. We are going to talk about the real reason your blood pressure remains high despite your medications. And I am going to give you a specific, science-backed morning protocol to fix it starting tomorrow. For decades, if you had high blood pressure, you were given one primary piece of dietary advice: throw away the salt shaker. You were told that sodium is the absolute villain of hypertension. So, millions of seniors dutifully stopped salting their eggs. They started buying low-sodium soup. They ate bland, tasteless food. And what happened? Their blood pressure still went up. Their doctors simply nodded, added another medication, and told them it was just a normal part of getting older. It is not just getting older. The reason cutting salt didn't fix your blood pressure is because we were targeting the wrong villain. To understand why your healthy breakfast is acting like a slow poison for your vascular system, we have to look at the exact physiological mechanics of what happens when that food enters your body. There are 3 specific mechanisms triggered by the standard American senior breakfast that are currently holding your cardiovascular system hostage. Mechanism 1, the insulin fluid trap. Let's look at that bowl of whole wheat cereal, or that whole wheat toast, or that glass of orange juice. We have been taught that whole grains and fruit juices are safe. But here is the biological reality. Starch, in every single form, is at its most fundamental level nothing more than a long chain of glucose molecules linked end to end. The moment that whole wheat bread or that cereal touches the enzymes in your saliva, those chains break apart into individual glucose molecules that flood directly into your bloodstream. When your blood sugar spikes, your pancreas immediately pumps out a massive surge of a hormone called insulin to deal with it. Most people only associate insulin with diabetes, but insulin is a master hormone with many jobs. One of its most powerful and least talked about jobs happens inside your kidneys. Your kidneys are the filters that regulate the fluid volume in your blood. When insulin levels are high, which happens every morning after you eat that cereal or toast, insulin directly signals the renal tubules in your kidneys to reabsorb sodium and hold on to water. Think about what that actually means. You could be eating a perfectly zero-sodium breakfast. You could have thrown the salt shaker in the garbage 10 years ago. But because you are eating processed carbohydrates that spike your insulin, your body is biologically forced to hoard whatever sodium is already inside of you. When your kidneys hold on to sodium, they must hold on to water to dilute it. Your overall blood volume balloons. Imagine taking a garden hose and suddenly cranking the faucet on maximum. The water pressure inside that hose skyrockets. That is exactly what is happening inside your arteries every morning at 8 a.m. Your heart-healthy cereal is trapping fluid in your vascular system, and your heart has to pump violently just to push that heavy, massive volume of fluid around your body. Mechanism 2, the endothelial rust, seed oils. Now let's talk about what you put on that toast. For years, we were told to avoid butter and instead use margarine or heart-healthy spreads made from vegetable oils. Canola oil, soybean oil, sunflower oil, corn oil. These are industrial seed oils extracted under high heat and chemical solvents, which makes their molecular structure highly unstable and highly inflammatory. The inside of your blood vessels is lined with a delicate, microscopic layer of cells called the endothelium. When your endothelium is healthy, it releases a compound called nitric oxide, which tells your blood vessels to relax, widen, and lower your blood pressure. But after the age of 60, your body's natural production of nitric oxide drops by nearly half. You are already operating at a deficit. When you consume these oxidized seed oils in your morning spreads or baked into your packaged cereals and breads, they enter your bloodstream and act like biological rust. They cause chronic, low-grade inflammation directly against that delicate endothelial wall. The wall becomes stiff. It loses its ability to expand. So now you have a massive volume of fluid being retained because of the insulin spike, and it is being forced through pipes that are stiff, rusted, and completely unable to widen and accommodate the pressure. This is the exact recipe for a hypertensive crisis, and you are eating it every morning. Mechanism 3, the vasoconstrictor ambush. The third mechanism happens before you even take your first bite of food. It involves your morning cup of coffee. I am not going to tell you to stop drinking coffee. There are real, documented benefits to it. But when and how you drink it after the age of 60 can mean the difference between a healthy morning and a cardiovascular event. When you wake up in the morning, you are inherently dehydrated. You have been asleep for 8 hours, breathing out water vapor, your kidneys filtering fluid into your bladder. Your blood volume is lower, meaning your blood is slightly thicker and more viscous. What do millions of seniors do the moment their feet hit the floor? They walk into the kitchen and pour a hot cup of coffee. Coffee is a potent vasoconstrictor. This means that within 30 minutes of that first sip, it causes your blood vessels to physically clamp down and narrow. If you drink coffee first thing in the morning, on an empty, dehydrated stomach, you are taking thick, slow-moving blood and forcing it through blood vessels that are actively tightening. You are dramatically increasing the vascular resistance your heart has to pump against. This is why the highest rates of heart attacks, strokes, and sudden cardiac deaths occur in the morning window between 6 a.m. and 10 a.m. Your cardiovascular system is doing immense physiological work, and that coffee on a dry system is an ambush. Let me tell you about a patient of mine named Robert. Robert was 68 years old, a retired postal worker who had walked his routes for 30 years. He was the kind of man who followed the rules. When his doctor told him his blood pressure was creeping up, Robert emptied his pantry. He threw away the bacon, the eggs, the butter, and the salt. Every morning, Robert ate exactly 1.5 cups of bran flakes with skim milk, 2 slices of multigrain toast with a soybean oil-based cholesterol-lowering spread, and drank an 8-ounce glass of orange juice. He was meticulous about it. Yet when he came to my office, he was sitting on 2 different blood pressure medications, and his morning readings were still routinely hitting 158/92. His previous doctor was preparing to add a third medication. Robert sat in my chair, looking exhausted, and asked me, "Dr. Kent, what else can I possibly give up? I'm eating cardboard and my blood pressure is still killing me." I told Robert what I am telling you today. "Robert," I said, "you aren't failing the diet is failing you. We are going to stop treating your blood pressure like a salt problem, and we are going to start treating it like an insulin and inflammation problem." I took him off the cereal. I took him off the orange juice. I threw his vegetable oil spread in the trash. I completely rebuilt the first 2 hours of his day. 6 weeks later, Robert walked back into my office. We checked his pressure. It was 122/76. No third medication. In fact, we started the process of tapering him off his second medication. The chronic swelling in his ankles had vanished, and the mid-morning brain fog he had accepted as just aging was completely gone. Robert was not a miracle. He was just a biological reality that was finally given the right operating instructions. The medications were trying to forcibly push his pressure down while his breakfast was aggressively driving it up. Once we removed the fire, the smoke cleared. You are the CEO of your own health. You do not need to wait for a 15-minute appointment to start changing the environment inside your arteries. You can do it tomorrow morning. Here is the exact step-by-step vascular defense morning protocol that I gave to Robert and that I give to my private patients who want to protect their hearts and lower their blood pressure naturally. Step 1. The 8-ounce buffer. Before you touch the coffee pot, before you look at your phone, before you even leave your bedroom, you must drink a minimum of 8 ounces of room temperature water. Keep a glass on your nightstand. Drink it before you stand up. This immediately addresses the overnight dehydration, thins your blood, and increases your circulating blood volume. When your blood is properly hydrated, it flows smoothly. If you put coffee into your system after this buffer, your vessels can handle the temporary constriction safely. Water first, then coffee. That is a non-negotiable rule in my clinic. Step 2. The 60-minute coffee delay. When you wake up, your body naturally produces a massive spike of a hormone called cortisol. This is your body's built-in alarm clock. Cortisol naturally raises your blood pressure to get you out of bed and moving. If you drink caffeine at the exact same time your cortisol is peaking, you are throwing gasoline on a fire. You are spiking your blood pressure twice. Wait exactly 60 minutes after you wake up before you have your first cup of coffee. Let your natural cortisol peak and begin to fall. Then introduce the caffeine. You will get the same energy without the dangerous, compounding cardiovascular spike. Step 3. The endothelial relaxer, nitrates. We are throwing away the cereal and the toast. Instead, we are going to use food as medicine to actively force your blood vessels to open up and relax. You are going to have a breakfast centered around high-quality protein and dietary nitrates. I want you to eat 2 pastured eggs, cooked in a healthy fat like extra virgin olive oil or real butter, never vegetable oil. And on the side, you are going to lightly sauté 1/2 cup of fresh spinach. Spinach is one of the most powerful circulation boosters on the planet. It is loaded with natural nitrates. When you eat it, your body converts those nitrates into nitric oxide, the exact compound your aging arteries are desperately missing. Nitric oxide acts as a natural key that unlocks your blood vessels, widening them like a multi-lane highway. Instead of fighting against narrow, stiff pipes, your heart is suddenly pumping blood through wide, relaxed vessels. The pressure naturally drops. Step 4. The mineral spark, seeds. Finally, we are going to replace the inflammatory, processed carbs with the exact raw materials your vascular system needs to stay flexible. I want you to add 1 tablespoon of ground flaxseed to a small serving of plain, unsweetened Greek yogurt. Flaxseed is one of the richest sources on earth of a plant-based omega-3 fat called ALA. Your body uses ALA to calm the chronic, low-grade inflammation in your arteries. Ground flaxseed also contains soluble fiber that blunts any glucose response, keeping your insulin perfectly quiet. Keep it in the refrigerator so it doesn't go rancid. And remember, it must be ground, not whole, or it will pass right through you. If you don't like flaxseed, use raw, soaked pumpkin seeds. Pumpkin seeds are the world's most concentrated source of natural magnesium. Magnesium is the master spark plug of your muscular and vascular system. It physically commands the smooth muscles surrounding your arteries to relax. But you must soak them in water overnight first to remove their natural enzyme inhibitors, or your body won't absorb the minerals. Let's look at what this new morning looks like. You wake up and hydrate immediately to thin your blood. You let your natural cortisol settle before having coffee. You eat a breakfast of protein, healthy fats, and nitrates that tells your arteries to widen and relax. You consume absolutely zero refined starch or sugar, meaning your insulin stays completely flat and your kidneys are permitted to flush out excess sodium in fluid rather than hoarding it. You have just reversed every single mechanical driver of high blood pressure, all before 9 a.m. The pharmaceutical companies don't benefit from you knowing this. The massive food conglomerates that make billions of dollars selling you boxes of processed flakes with heart-healthy logos stamped on the front certainly don't want you to know this. They want you to believe that aging is just a slow process of losing ground, that taking 3 pills a day is your only option, that feeling tired, swollen, and fearful is just what 65 or 70 feels like. I am telling you, as a physician who has watched thousands of patients reclaim their lives, that is not the full truth. Your body has not given up. Your cardiovascular system is working right now with everything it has to keep you here. It just needs the right conditions to work the way it was designed to. When you stop putting rusted, inflammatory fuel into the machine stops breaking down. You spent decades building the habits that brought you to where you are today. You can build new ones. Not because it is easy, but because the alternative, waking up every morning and feeding the conditions for a stroke or a heart attack, is no longer acceptable to you. If you found this information valuable today, if it changed the way you are going to look at your pantry tomorrow morning, I have 3 simple requests for you. First, subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell. I do not do quick fads. Every single week, I dig through the latest clinical research to bring you the exact, actionable medical truth about aging that is missing from your 15-minute doctor's appointments. You deserve to know how your body works. Second, hit the like button. To you, it is a fraction of a second, but to the algorithm, it is a signal that this message is life-saving. It tells the system to push this video in front of another senior who is sitting at their kitchen table right now, eating a bowl of cereal, wondering why their blood pressure is 160/95, and feeling completely hopeless. You can help me reach them. Third, I want you to leave a comment down below. Just type these words: I am protecting my heart today. When you type those words, you aren't just commenting for my sake. You are drawing a line in the sand. You are making a public commitment to yourself. You are deciding that your health, your independence, and your future are worth more than the old, comfortable habits. I read every single comment on this channel. Your comment might be the exact spark that gives someone else reading it the courage to finally make a change. And lastly, share this video with one person in your life. Just one. Send it to your brother who complains about his blood pressure meds. Send it to your friend who thinks her orange juice and toast is keeping her healthy. You might never know it, but you could genuinely be the reason someone you love wakes up to see the sun tomorrow. I am Dr. Daniel Harris. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your trust. And thank you for refusing to be a passive participant in your own aging. Take care of your heart tomorrow morning. I'll see you in the next video. Stay strong.